Just in case you've been under a rock, Warner Brothers confirms that it has accepted the offer from Netflix. In an internal memo, Discovery Global is still going to split off everything that was there before. Will be leaving, plus a bunch of cable networks that Warner Brothers owned. So essentially the IP side of the company, other than Discovery, is going to be Warner Brothers Studios, and that, if this goes through, is going to be owned by Netflix.
Can you guys imagine? I mean, listen, the chances of this actually happening anytime in the next 3 years is almost nil. And that's what is being told behind the scenes at Paramount, and now not so privately being told to Warner Brothers shareholders. And the question becomes, is a full-blown effort to create a Warner Brothers civil war on the way against their executives? This is a fascinating day for anybody who's interested in this sort of thing. I am comparing this. You know, Paramount, my understanding is they had the highest bid for the first 2 rounds. Okay? Imagine that you go to a home auction or car auction or whatever you want to go to, okay? And imagine that everybody bids, and at the end of the day, you had the highest bid, and they say to you, nope, sorry, not good enough. We're going to do more bids. Okay.
No, this company wants $30 a share for just the windshield wipers.
Right. So you go to second round. And again, you're the highest bidder. And they say, nope. Imagine then that the next round of bids happens, and you're pretty miffed about it. Oh. And the cousin shows up. The cousin shows up buying the home and says, for the first time ever, I've bid 75 cents more than you have. And they say, sold! No more rounds! No more rounds! I'm here to tell you, Paramount is not happy about this. Their friends in the Trump administration are going to be unhappy about this. And the question, Alex, have you guys talked about what Alex is saying over at CNBC? Alex Sherman.
Well, yeah, we haven't brought it up yet, but the fact that he's essentially saying that Paramount is not completely out of the game at this point.
Well, that Alex is also saying that if this doesn't pass regulations, and it probably won't. Okay, so all this bluster, this probably doesn't pass regulations unless they get somebody else in the White House in 3 years, and then maybe that's the play. But Alex is saying, for Netflix to spend $5 billion and your biggest competitors don't get Warner Brothers and you just get to sit with it, it might be worth $5 billion to fake this thing for a couple years, 2 or 3 years, and nobody can touch Warner Brothers, and you get to ride that. Maybe it's worth it to them.
It is. So the Ellisons reportedly have a backup plan where they are going to now appeal directly to shareholders in an attempt to bypass the board. And I guess, in a sense, is that a hostile takeover? Or
no, that's being reported by Charlie Gasparino, who's one of the best in the business. And the Access Media is not talking about this, Marvin, but yes,
we did.
If Paramount goes directly to the shareholders, I don't think people understand what that means. If they go to the shareholders and say, okay, the people running what you own stock in, you need to go against them right now, completely and totally. What the Ellisons would be telling the shareholders to do is to say, you've been hoodwinked. You've been taken advantage of. This is never going to go through. So come to us and we'll throw the bums out. I mean, that's a big deal.
Well, and again, I mean, it comes down to their fiduciary duty, which is, the broader part of that conversation. So.
Well, think about it. Okay, so the allegation, we're not making this, but this is coming from the Ellisons. The allegation is this, that this was predetermined. Netflix was always going to win. Don't know if they've got the evidence of that. They might have messages. You never know. They're alleging that, because they sent this, I think, in a letter yesterday morning. They're saying to the shareholders that Warner Brothers did this because they're going to get cushy jobs out of it. But it's never going to pass the governmental muster. And that means that when it doesn't, you shareholders, while these other folks enjoy their new career path with Netflix, you all are about to get hosed. I mean, they're not alleging criminal activity, but they have walked this up to the very line, and their little tippy toe is up to the line of saying, hey, there's criminality here. I mean, this is a huge allegation that Paramount is making.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're just crying wolf at the moment so that they can slow this down a little bit more. I do think that the regulatory side of things, the Department of, Marvin said it a moment ago, that this is going to be like a invasive exam that men receive. This is not. This is going to be a very detail-oriented process that will be very difficult. If Brendan Carr is out there giving Disney trouble and giving NBC trouble and giving every single broadcast company out there trouble, there's no reason that they won't do the same to Netflix. They've already, as we said before, they've already started working with Paramount on other things. This massive merger between Skydance and Paramount. The relationships are already there, so they already know where the landmines are there. I do think that if Paramount comes in and says, we want it all for a similar price, and we think it will actually get approved. If I'm a Warner Brothers shareholder, which the last time I checked, I'm not, that to me sounds a lot more alluring than dealing with Netflix. Also, it doesn't destroy the theatrical industry. It keeps profitability at Warner Brothers for their best and only product, because Warner Brothers is not a company that they have some cable channels. Those are going off and spinning off into a different entity. They could be doing some stuff with theme park rights that could make them a lot of money. If they go to Netflix, all of that just becomes, well, we own some IPs.
Well, now, my understanding is, based on Charlie Gasparino's reporting out of the New York Post, that Warner Brothers, listen, Netflix only beat Paramount by 75 cents and came nowhere close to the $30 they were looking for. Charlie Gasparino reported yesterday that Warner Brothers was ready to go to round 4 of taking bids. And then Skydance sent them the letter saying, hey, we may go to your shareholders. Like this is, and they referred to it as myopic and one-sided with a predetermined outcome. And they said, we may go to your shareholders. Within hours of that warning being sent from Paramount to Warner Brothers, within hours, the bids were closed and the acquisition was accepted with Netflix. I think that's what changed this. I think that's what caused them to immediately go to that move. I think they were rapidly trying to wrap this up so it's messier for Paramount to try to do this now. And this gets into all kinds of, I'm telling you, if shareholders want to raise a stink about it, and you're going to see these divisions based on political lines, because a lot of this has to do with what we're reporting on That Park Place today about CNN. This is going to get messy. There was, what would you say? 2 months ago, nobody would have ever thought that Netflix would do this because the regulations aren't going to allow it.
Right, this is
like end of the movie theater business.
They weren't going to do this.
Netflix says they weren't going to get into theatrical.
We're builders, not buyers. They were very clear.
They're not getting into the theatrical business. That's what people understand. If they buy Warner Brothers, they will fulfill the contracts that feature these penalties if they move the movies out of theaters. Why in the world would Netflix buy Warner Brothers to compete with Netflix in theaters?
Globalism.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.